I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill anybody. Just let me go.
Is there any reason you would have deleted phone calls?
When 62-year-old Valena Shepherd was found dead, police first thought it was an accident. But a string of shocking discoveries quickly changed that. This was murder, and the killer was someone already at the scene, someone close to her.
What's going on?
From the line.
Oh, New York?
Yeah. I was so wrong.
On January 5, 2020, police were sent to a home after a man made a chilling 911 call.
911, address emergency.
1 Lincoln Square, apartment 10G.
Okay, what's going on over there?
My mom has passed away. Her neck is broke. I can see that. It was a fall. She must have been trying to go to the store or something.
All right, we'll send someone over, okay?
The caller was James. He had just come home and found his mother, Valena Shepherd, dead.
You're her son? You're
Valena was a 62-year-old widow living alone. When officers arrived, they found her lying on the floor, already dead.
And I just don't like what's what. Okay. Did she seem like she's been here for a little while at least?
There's no doubt, but I mean, it could have been, 2 hours, could be 6 hours. I don't, we can't gauge that.
Valena Shepherd was dressed like she was about to head out. There were no signs of forced entry. The apartment wasn't ransacked, nothing was out of place, and there were no signs of a struggle. A laceration was visible on Valena's chin, one that hadn't been there before. Investigators assumed she might have fallen against the corner of a wall, causing the injury.
I don't want to touch anything until we get some pictures. Yeah, right. But we don't know if that's her shit either. I don't know if that's hers.
When officers noticed a bloody boot print, that's when they realized this wasn't just an accident. 3 people were already at the scene: James, Valena's son, and the 911 caller, Kunashea Anderson, her home health care worker, and Kunashea's boyfriend, Lee Williams.
She wasn't answering her phone.
What time did you call?
All day, periodically.
What
about
time?
8 times today. The last time about 9 o'clock at night.
What does her pocketbook look like?
It's red.
Red, okay. Is it like big, small?
Like that big.
Okay, so like a regular size. Do you know where she keeps that in her apartment?
No, that pocketbook goes everywhere
With her, okay. She's got a red pocketbook. Should be wherever she is. A bright red shoulder strap.
Valena's red purse was gone, along with her phone, laptop, Echo Dot, and other electronics. It was starting to look like a robbery gone wrong. An autopsy confirmed what officers feared. Valena had been dead for more than a day, killed on January 4th. She'd been strangled, stabbed multiple times, and beaten so badly it fractured her skull and broke her ribs. The medical examiner ruled it a homicide. Officers also found $1,100 hidden in Valena's undergarments. She was wearing a life vest, a wearable defibrillator that shocks the heart if the rhythm drops. That device could hold key data, including when it last registered a heartbeat. It might help pinpoint her exact time of death. While waiting on the life vest data, officers kept digging into the scene. In the building, officers found a trash chute that led to the basement dumpster. Inside it, they found a red purse.
She's got a red pocketbook. Should be wherever she is. A bright red shoulder strap.
During our search...
Next to the red purse, officers found a pair of blue jeans and a blue sweatshirt. The clothes were sent to the lab for DNA testing. In the meantime, investigators began interviewing suspects, starting with Valena's son, James. James said he was at work at the hospital that day. He hadn't seen the messages from his mom's caregiver, Miss Anderson, until later. Once he did, he went over to check on Valena himself. That's when officers told him it was a homicide. He broke down. His story was confirmed, and he was cleared. Next, officers brought in Valena's home health care worker, Ms. Anderson.
No, am I being charged with something? I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill anybody. Just let me go.
Did you talk to Miss Valena on Saturday?
I was talking to Miss Valena.
Like early in the morning or?
Anderson said she met Lee Williams through a dating app and that he'd been living with her. She also told officers that she and Valena had counted $1,600 that day, but only $1,100 was found on Valena's body that left $500 unaccounted for.
I got my own money. I make $14 an hour. I work over 40 hours every week. My direct deposit on Friday was over $600. I got $200 in my bank account. I would never do that. She was in my apartment.
That's nothing.
That doesn't do it justice.
To the injury she sustained.
I would never want Miss Valena to go through that.
Well, she did. What's up? What size shoe you wear?
Why was so wrong?
I'm just asking.
These are 12 minutes.
Alright. Do you have any boots up in your apartment?
Officers found several pairs of boots in Anderson's apartment that matched the print from the scene. They sent the boots to the lab, along with her phone. On it, they found messages she'd sent that day, trying to get in touch with Lee Williams. Anderson lived just a few floors below Valena and had full access to her apartment. That kept her high on the list of suspects. To tighten the timeline, investigators reviewed Anderson's keycard records from the day of the murder and matched her entry and exit times with CCTV footage from the building. Then came a surprising find. Anderson's keycard had been used multiple times that day, but not by her. It was her boyfriend, Lee Williams, who'd been using it. What stood out even more, CCTV showed Lee Williams in different outfits throughout the day, sometimes with a backpack. One of those outfits matched the clothes found in the trash chute. That was enough for officers to bring him in for questioning.
I understand that you had met her, right, and spent some time with her at her apartment. She's been to Q's apartment, right? So what we're trying to establish right now is kind of figure out a timeline of when she might have passed. So when's the last time you saw her, Lee?
Well, the last time I saw her was when me and Q went to her house.
Yep.
And I think that was, Friday or Saturday. Q was trying to get in touch with her to take her to the bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we understand there's probably attempts made to try to get in contact with Miss V on Saturday.
Yes. I called her from my phone, and Q called, and I went up there and knocked on the door 3 times.
Is there any reason you would have deleted phone calls on your phone from Miss B?
I don't think I would have.
Well, you said she called you and you called her,
Yeah,
but there's no evidence of that on your phone. The last person to see her alive. You understand?
That's not necessarily true.
It is true.
After the interview, officers sent Lee Williams's phone to the lab. He was now officially a suspect, alongside Quiniasha Anderson. Meanwhile, the clothes found in the trash chute were still being tested for DNA. While the investigation moved forward, officers got the phone data back from both Lee Williams and Anderson. The phone records showed a string of texts between Lee and Anderson the day before Valena was killed. One message from Lee stood out. "I have her keys. Just shut the door." Valena's keys were never recovered from the scene. Officers also mapped Lee Williams's movements through his cell phone data.
I did see that his cell phone was linked to Wi-Fi connection. He was at 1 Lincoln Square for a duration of time. And then he left that area. I tracked him back in that area at 1 Lincoln Square. And then he was traveling somewhat northbound in that city area. And then after, he did move throughout the city. And then he returned to that residence.
CCTV caught him walking through the city with a backpack, but when he came back, it was no longer with him. That missing backpack could hold key evidence. Finding it might be the break officers needed. As they looked closer, officers tracked Lee crossing Delaware Avenue at Elm Street. He had a backpack in one shot and none in the next. Somewhere along that block, he'd gotten rid of it. Police searched alleyways and nearby landfills, but the backpack never turned up. The case was starting to stall until one key piece of digital evidence came to light. Investigators found a photo taken at 6:12 p.m. on the day of the murder. It showed an engagement ring Lee Williams had tried to sell to a jeweler. When they showed it to James, he confirmed it belonged to his mother.
Went to the jeweler's place of business and reviewed video surveillance. The video surveillance confirmed that the person who came to his place of business to pawn a ring was Lee Williams.
The last missing piece was Valena's exact time of death. Investigators hoped the life vest data would finally give them that answer. The life vest data showed it was still active at 2:50 p.m. on January 4th. The last signal came at 3:03 p.m. That gave officers a clear window to work with. They matched it against key card logs and CCTV to see exactly who was inside the building when Valena was killed. CCTV caught Lee Williams going into the building just before 2 p.m. He walked out around 3:13, still carrying a backpack. This time, there was a new rip in his jeans, one that hadn't been there earlier. It could have happened during a struggle with Valena. Officers still didn't have enough to prove in court that Lee Williams was the killer. They needed something stronger to convince a jury.
We don't know if that's her shoe. I don't know if that's hers.
An expert gave us the opinion that those footprints were likely caused when the person wearing the shoe stomped on Valena Shepherd and then stepped on the floor.
The boots from Anderson's apartment matched the tread pattern but tested clean. No blood. Still, CCTV showed Lee Williams wearing black boots that day, made by the same brand investigators believe he got rid of them after the murder. Just as the case was starting to lose steam, a man showed up at the station with a bag he'd found. It was the same one Lee Williams had been seen carrying. Inside were all the missing electronics from Valena's apartment, a clear link tying him to the crime. The final blow came with the DNA results. The jeans and sweatshirt from the dumpster had Valena's blood and Lee Williams' DNA. With digital records, forensics, and surveillance all lining up, the case against him was now solid.
Lee Williams saw Valena Shepherd as somebody who was vulnerable. He had seen Valena Shepherd counting hundreds of dollars in cash a few days before. I suspect that Lee took money from Valena Shepherd's purse. Valena Shepherd discovered that, and that was why she hid the money in her underwear. She probably confronted him about the money that she was missing. And Lee Williams made the decision that rather than deal with Valena Shepherd or her accusations, he was going to kill her. Lee Williams left the building. We spoke to several witnesses, and at least one of them said that he had tried to sell them several laptops. And then Lee Williams sold the ring.
In the end, it was the digital trail, backed by CCTV footage, that helped confirm who was really responsible. Ms. Anderson was cleared of any wrongdoing and was never charged. Valena Shepherd was strong, outspoken, and deeply loved by her family and everyone who knew her. But one man's greed stole her life. What was taken wasn't just her presence. It was her love, her care, and the wisdom she still had to give. Her family will carry that loss for the rest of their lives.